Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Miss Abby94, and you already know what it is. I'm back at it again with the back at it again with the recap. Y'all, week 9 happened. I know I'm a little bit late, but you know I'm gonna catch y'all up on what happened. So you know what you gotta do. You got to stay tuned. Stay tuned. So y'all, I know this recap is late, please forgive me, but y'all, I have so many finals, I have so many I'm just drowning in work right now. It's literally like 3:30 or 4 in the morning as I'm recording this, so you have to understand that I'm doing this because I love y'all. So please show me love and hit that subscribe button if you have not already. All of my loyal subscribers, this is a thank you again, and for all of my new people, hey new subbies, how y'all doing? And for all of those who have not yet subscribed, I don't even want to hear an excuse anymore. I'm gonna need you to just go ahead. I forgive you up until this point. Just go ahead, click that subscribe button. Just join the family. Hit the subscribe button. Stop playing. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, and share this video with your friends. So without further ado, let's get into this recap. This is week 9. Y'all know we just came off of having the women tell all, but now we're back into the juicy stuff, the stuff that actually involves Arie. Now he has 3 women left, and we know that this is going to be the fantasy suite episode, so it's going to be kind of important to see how these fantasy suites influence Arie's decision and who he's gonna take into the top 2. So this is very imperative. We know that we have Becca K left from Minnesota, coming off of a strong hometown date. Then we have Lauren B, who, you know, is exciting Arie, but that's about it. Not exciting me. And then we have Kendall, who's from LA. So definitely a different mix as far as the women go. This episode, they're actually in Peru. So we know that they've gone quite a few places. They're coming off of the date in Tuscany. And again, I am so jealous. I'm here like, damn, take me with, pack me in the suitcase. Like I will find my way into the crevice, whatever I need to do to get close to like Machu Picchu or like Peru. I would just be so delighted. The first date is with Kendall. Now we know Kendall has been kind of the underdog this season. She kind of took a lot of people by surprise. She made it super far by being herself, being quirky, being honest, being funny, and just being really nice and true to the girls and true to herself. And we're coming off the hometown where her family wasn't really, you know, all the way encouraging the relationship. They felt like they saw some distance between her and Arie. And I think coming in, Kendall was really realizing that she is behind. The time that, you know, she kind of missed in the beginning may start to influence her relationship, and she's just trying to figure out how she can catch up, if she can catch up, and if it's gonna be worth it. And I think Arie is thinking the same thing. So this date is very imperative for them moving forward, and figuring out if they can really make it work and fall in love with each other within the time they have left. Because you know Arie wants this proposal so bad, and no comment. So they open up the scene and they are actually dune bugging. So they're like going through the desert. They cannot stop laughing, y'all. That's the one thing that I noticed throughout this date. They just continuously are like giggling. They're making little funny jokes with each other. They're like, oh my God. Like they just, Arie is such a weirdo and nerd. We know this, and he makes the most like, just the weirdest jokes, and Kendall on her own is very quirky and actually funny. So it's like them going back and forth, like all they do is laugh. I want to know what the joke was, because I dead ass was there like, what did I miss? Like, what y'all laughing at? What's tea, sis? So they actually got stuck on the trail. So Arie was like, okay, maybe we should be done with this dune bugging thing. And so they actually leave that area and they go and they have some conversation. Kendall kind of tells Arie that, you know, she's kind of been a novelty in her past to some of her exes, and she's just almost afraid of like being this like what we call it token, what we would call a token in our community, or a novelty or fetish. She tells Arie that, you know, she's had that happen in her past where someone just wants to date someone interesting and fun and funny, and like, are they really in it for her? And so she was like, she needs to hear reassurance from him. Arie really starts off by saying, you know, I brought you here for a reason. I'm really into you. Basically telling her, no, you're not a fetish. No, you're not a novelty, quick fix. Oh, that was interesting. Had to get that out of my system kind of thing. Like, I'm really into you, and that happened really organically. And I think it's really special. We have a really special relationship. I can say I'm falling in love with you. And I think you see Kendall's face light up, and she looks at him and says, I'm falling in love with you too. I think that at the end of the day, Kendall still has a lot of doubts and needs a lot of reassurance from Arie. I don't think she's all the way feeling it, but I think for the purposes of hearing Arie say, I'm falling in love with you, after asking him all of these questions for reassurance, I think that in this moment, that's enough for her. Do I think it's going to be enough to get them to the point that they need to be in Arie's mind at the end of this? No, but I think Kendall is playing this well. She's not overextending herself. She did not say she's in love with him. She did not promise him anything that she cannot fulfill. And she's just being real with what it is. She says she's really excited to see where this keeps going, and now she's more comfortable to actually enter the fantasy suite. So, you know, it's a slight progression. It's not all the way y'all know, but it's really egging its way on, and I think that will be okay for now. We'll see in comparison to the other relationships if that will be enough. So then we switch to the other scene where they are actually at dinner and they're talking about the same thing. He gives her more reassurance and they're having more cutesy, quirky, funny communication. Then they get the date card that says, you know, do you want to forego your individual rooms, blah, 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 spend the night together, blah, 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 fantasy suite. Y'all know the drill. And she basically, even though had her doubts and even though said she wouldn't accept it unless she was reassured, I think she got enough from the date and enough from their conversation to feel comfortable going into that fantasy suite. So she decides to accept it and kind of tells him she can't wait to talk to him more and get to know him more. They kind of went into what looked to me like a villa, nice little room area, nice little kitchen, nice little everything. I was like, okay, Kendall, securing a nice little suite out here in Peru. Okay, not mad at you, sis. When they wake up the next morning, I found it really funny that Kendall made it a very clear point to say that, oh my gosh, we just talked all night. We had the greatest conversations. Wow, we were just so eloquent. Wow, our dialogue was amazing. Every word for conversation Kendall used. And I was just like, Arie ain't getting none. That's all I could think of. I was like, Arie. They were cooking breakfast in the in the kitchen, and he was like, oh, he was cooking eggs, and he was like, how do you like your eggs? And he was like, do you like them with a little bit of milk in them to make them fluffy? And then he was like, no, you like them sunny side up. That's something I learned about you last night. And I was just like, y'all dead ass really talked. I wonder if Arie was big man. Kendall, sis. They end up back in bed, they're cuddled all up on each other, they're hugged all up on each other. kissing each other. And it looks like the vibe of the date is still very warm. Arie doesn't look too tense or frustrated, even though I suspect he might be. But it looks like they're in a jovial spirit, jovial mood. They kind of talk through some of the concerns they had about each other and needing reassurance from each other. And I think they're just in a place of like, they understand each other and they're in a good spot. So that's the end of Kendall's fantasy suite date. So then we actually transform to Lauren B. We get the scene of Lauren B and Arie meeting up with each other. Of course, run to each other, jumps up on him, holding him super tight. I'm just like, yawn. Then Arie announces that they are going to be flying around in a plane over some part of Peru, and they're just gonna have an aerial view, and it's gonna be just so amazing and so romantic. And I'm just like, this date is probably like what I would come on this show for, like flying over just Peru. The sights are like, just picturesque, like Bachelor date. This is one of the ones I would want, and Lauren B gets it, of course, because this one always gets the best dates. They're flying, they're looking at the sights, and you know, it's always awkward to have conversations in like a helicopter or plane anyway. But you know, when it comes to Lauren B and Arie, you never know what you're gonna get. In their first couple of dates, they didn't really talk to each other. It was always dry, very awkward. Then last week, it was so much like, you know, talking and energy. And I'm like, wow, maybe the chemistry has improved. But now I think with this date, we're back to square one. It's quiet in the helicopter. Lauren literally looks like she's been brewing on like something terrible. Like, it's like she is carrying the weight of the world on top of her. Like she cannot get out of her head. She's looking out the window, but she's really thinking about a million cats that are crying. Like, I don't know what's going on with her, but Arie notices that she is really brewing on something and that her mind is away. And in the confessionals, he starts saying that, I'm starting to see Lauren slip away. And he's like, this is exactly kind of where we started and what I wanted to avoid. Like, we've come so far, and he's like, I see such a good thing with her and she's such a good woman, but it really sucks because I only start to see glimpses of her and then she gets in her head. And he's like, I would hate to spend my time reassuring her of our relationship instead of just building our relationship. So he's definitely coming in with his own observations of what he sees about Lauren. I'm like, wow, Arie, you actually can think when it comes to her? So now they kind of fast forward to the dinner date portion, and this is where they're having deep conversation. Arie kind of brings up and says, hey, you know, I noticed you were in your head during the flight. I don't want that for you, like kind of what's going on, kind of open up to me. And she, of course, goes back to the thing that she was stressing on in the beginning of their first one-on-one, saying, I'm so afraid. I think it stems from, you know, me being in my head stems from how much I like you, how much I see with you, how bad I don't want to be hurt. I've been hurt in the past. I don't want you to hurt me. Like, I'm just basically in my head because of the feelings I have for you. And he's just like, okay, I understand that. I've been in your position, trying to reassure her, trying to give her encouraging words like, I'm here, I'm in this, stay with me. And she just keeps expressing her concerns and her like fear. And so it even sometimes causes her to think of leaving. And I think when Arie heard leaving, he said, what did you say? Think of what? Think of what? As much as I think this girl is so dry and I see nothing about it, every time she does something to him, I think she has this like timid way of her. How do I say this? She's like someone he thinks he can control. I don't know, y'all. I don't know her personality. She seems very moldable. that sounds terrible, but she seems very easygoing, timid, a more submissive, a more like, you know, go with the flow type of woman. I think I figured it out. I think he's into the chase. He's into the, you know, the timid, like damsel in distress. I think he's really into women who he feels like he has like more control over in a sense. And like he likes the fact that she relies so heavily on his like reassurance and his emotional like ties to her. Like I don't know, it gives me like real, I don't know, I don't like the dynamic. It makes me a little bit it's just like because it's funny to me because he said he wants a strong woman, and I'm like, literally the one you do heart eyes with, Lauren B, is like the weakest. Not weakest, so bad. The most timid, the most malleable, the most, y'all know what I'm trying to say, just fill in the blank. After they kind of talk through her, you know, saying she may want to go home, he kind of jumps in and says, wow, like, it really scares me to hear you saying that. I feel like I've given you the reassurance over and over, and I'll basically saying I'll continue to do it because you are someone that I can see something with, and you are someone that I just so admire and I'm so excited about. And he said, it's crazy how quick and hard I fell for you. And then he follows it up with, I love you and I would hate to lose you. Arie's in love. Yay! Lauren responds and she says, oh my gosh, I love you too. She's like, that feels so good to hear. But of course she didn't say it that excited. She was like, that feels so good to hear. I love you too. I'm just like, ugh, God. That's kind of how they end their dinner date part. And of course the fantasy suite date card comes, you know, asking them to forego their rooms. He asked Lauren B, you down for that? DTF, and she says, yeah. I was just like, wow, that's probably the most you've said all season, sis. Go ahead, get yours. I don't care. I don't care. They're walking to their fantasy suite room, and they walk into a nice ass suite, y'all. I mean, big bed, rose petals, candles, bathroom, just nice. It was just very romantic looking. It had a big bay window, like just good vibes. And I'm just like, of course, she got the bomb ass helicopter. She got the bomb ass room. Like, she probably gonna get she'll get subpar, you know, action. Then they wake up and we see them in the bed. They are hugged up on each other, y'all. They are kissing each other nonstop. Arie cannot stop saying, I love you, and she cannot stop saying it back. It's just like, they're just like, I love you. I love you too. Oh, I love you. I'm just like, okay, bye, bye, bye. We actually hear Arie said that at the beginning of the journey of being the Bachelor, he didn't know if he would feel feelings of love, but he can definitely say that he's happy that he was able to feel them now. So he's basically saying some words of affirmation to Lauren, giving her reassurance, as always, consistent reassurance. And it's looking like she left looking very confident and happy and excited. Then we hear Lauren say that she's so glad that they finally got to talk about a lot of things. Is talking code for something else? Interesting. Talking. That must be a euphemism. That just has to be the end of their fantasy suite, y'all. They are all up on each other. They've probably said I love you a million times already. And at this point, I'm just starting to think that Lauren B is potentially the front runner. I don't get why, but just looks like what it is. So Our third fantasy suite date is going to be obviously with the last candidate standing, Becca K. So they meet up, they actually run into each other's arms. They're on like a beach area, basically gonna be sailing on a boat. Basic bachelor date on water on a boat where they're just in their bikini doing the Titanic pose, looking at the views. Either way, I'm not mad at it. It's Peru, so they're on the boat and they actually start having some, you know, small conversations. Basically, they're talking about how they're doing and where they're at now. They talk about the hometown dates. Arie kind of said that Uncle Gary was a bit hard on him. Becca responds and says, yeah, I kind of knew he would be. And they kind of agreed that overall it went well. They also start talking about where they stand with each other. Becca asks Arie if he has any doubts or fears. And Arie basically says, no, I don't really have any. And Becca's looking pretty excited about that and thinking, you know, yes, no fears, no doubts. Our relationship is good. He didn't tell me he sees any red flags. And she's just looking really excited and really happy about that answer. And also about the fact that, you know, the vibes of the date is really warm and cozy and like they're really all over each other. And y'all know I said that the chemistry is kind of it's like slowly creeping up for me. I think seeing them in this episode, when they first met up with each other, I thought they kind of had like best friend vibes. I don't know, they weren't really looking at each other in the eyes or kind of looking away. But then when they actually are on this boat, they're all up on each other. So I could definitely say the chemistry was quite hot on this boat. And I think that Becca is very excited about the conversation and the slight reassurance she's getting from Arie. Arie kind of mentioned that in his confessionals that this is the safest and most comfortable relationship he has, and that, you know, he's really comfortable with Becca and he's happy about where they are. Y'all, it's like the black girl who watches The Bachelor prophecy. Like, didn't I tell y'all that, didn't I call that this relationship the safe option? They are each other's safe choice. And what did Arie say himself? This is the safest and most comfortable relationship. Stay woke, y'all. So now we transition the date to the dinner date part. And their date is actually on the beach. And they have this nice little romantic dinner set up. The first thing Becca says is, oh my God, no way, this is so cute, it's so romantic. Yeah, she's, you know, fake excited right now because it was super cute and romantic. But if I was Becca and I saw Laura Beast watching it back, I'd be like, bitch, you had me out in the sand? You had me out where? It was very nice for the dinner date part, but y'all will soon understand why I'm going to drag this setup. They go and they have their little romantic dinner on the beach, and here's where they're really diving deep into their relationship. We've heard up until this point, Becca has said in her confessionals that she's going to tell Arie that she's in love with him and that she's a little bit nervous because she's never told a guy that she loves them first. She's always kind of heard that from the guy first. And so she's kind of a little scared to say it without really being able to hear it back, but she knows that she has to do it. So they sit down, they're having more conversations about where they are, and he just continues to tell Becca that he's really into her. He can see a future with her, and he's just so excited about what that means for their future. And again, Becca asked Arie if, okay, you said all these great things. Do you have any fears? Like, I know you said you had fears coming into this process. Do those still exist, or where are you kind of at now? And Arie kind of says that, no, I don't have any fears. And then after a little bit of reflection, he goes in and says, well, when I came in, I had this fear of choosing the wrong person, choosing someone who wouldn't choose me. And, you know, Becca's looking at him like, okay, and valid fears. But I also think that it's a little worrisome to me that Becca feels the need to always ask him about his doubts and his fears, because that to me signals that she might be sensing that there's something that he's doubting or fearing. Her intuition is not wrong, and I think her intuition is telling her that there's something that Arie might be withholding or not being forthcoming about within their relationship. Maybe it's within the connection, whether it's within how, you know, clear he sees the future between the two of them. I think deep down inside, she's starting to feel, you know, like, is something off? Am I missing something? Because she consistently asked about fears. And to me, I'm wondering, what, Becca, like, is there something that he's giving off that's making you think that, let me just make sure we're good? Those are major fears, and I would hope at this point that he didn't still have them, but he mentions them anyway. So it gives me concern that he still thinks this now. And it's just scary to think that he is harboring these type of fears because they're detrimental to everyone in this situation if they were to pop up and get in the way of his actual decision in the end. So I don't know, not both well for the fears thing, but I think ultimately it gave Becca a chance to respond and say, I know you have a fear, but I see everything clearly. I think from day one, our first date, I had these incredibly intense emotions for you. And I had, you know, an open heart about this whole thing. And I think from that first date on, you slowly began taking pieces of my heart. And I can say now that I'm in love with you. I really do love you. And Arie was like, I love you too. And Becca, y'all, was shook. You could tell she was like, and I'm just sitting here like, Arie. His name is Benjamin Higgins. Look him up. Look how that worked out for him. And return back to this video. Why don't they? Lord. I understand being open in this process. I understand wanting to be really realistic with how you're feeling and give as much as you can to each woman. But I just think it's a really bad idea to say, I love you. I kind of see why they have the rule of not saying I love you until the end, because just look at how it influenced Ben and Lauren versus Ben and JoJo. Now we know they're broken up, and we know one of the reasons they broke up was because Lauren could not get over the fact that he said, I love you to JoJo. Now we have Arie here saying I love you to both Becca K and Lauren B, two very, very polar opposite women. And the way he says it is so passionate to both of them. So I can only imagine at this point, they're both probably thinking, this is my husband. I'm getting proposed to. It's just, it would be so hard to hear that he said those same words few days later or before he said it to you. Like, it doesn't really hold the same weight anymore. And then it makes it even harder to get over that hurdle of like that person trusting that you love them in the end and you chose them in the end. Like, it's just a bad idea. It's bad idea. I don't know what else to say to him. I just feel like he's setting himself up for the finale to be a whole ass mess. Like, a whole ass mess. Do not tell two people you love them in this show. It never ends well, I promise. It always ends up hurting the finalist, the person you actually get engaged to. It becomes a hurdle to get over. So I'm a bit concerned about this. He also says in his confessional that a part of him is just, he calls Becca the perfect woman, and he says that he just feels so strongly for her and that it almost makes him want to end the show right now and propose to her right then and there. I'm just like, this means the front runner is not Lauren B? Because up until this, before, you know, this date, I was like, oh, Lauren B, you know, she's kind of inching her out a bit. The way he looks at her is just so like, he's so enamored. But for him to be saying that he wants to just propose to her right now, I'm just like, Becca might be securing the ring, y'all. Their fantasy sweet date card comes, and she agrees that she's gonna forgo her own room. But I don't know if she should have done that, because she maybe would have been able to get an actual room, because their fantasy suite, y'all, is in a tent on the beach. And they got her fucked up. There's no way in hell. ABC, stop this mess. Stop, go. Producers, go get the room key. Stop playing. They have to be kidding. Get her a room with a bathroom. The least you can do. Damn, just nasty. We go into this tent and we see it's kind of a nice setup. If you didn't look up, maybe you wouldn't know it's a tent, but it's a tent, y'all. And there's a nice bed and a little bedside table, and it's lit and all of that, whatever. And Arie like hops on the bed, and I kid you not, I heard the noise. Like, it was so hard. Who is playing Becca like this? Who did Becca like, what beef does she have with y'all producers? Like, which intern did she piss off? Like, forgive her, like, y'all pay for this. No bathroom in a tent, like, probably not that warm. Like, y'all are petty as hell. We see them waking up together. They're in the bed, and ABC pettily zooms in on a pile of clothing and then zooms to them in the bed as like Becca has on like a robe, and he's like basically exposing his whole body. In this moment, I learned he had tattoos, and I'm just like, they are so damn shady. Like, they just love little innuendos. Clearly, Becca and Arie had a great time in that fantasy suite. Clearly, he's looking too comfortable, so I'm guessing, you know, he finessed his way into some action. And they both look happy. Do y'all two consenting grown adults, that's none of my business. They go eat their breakfast outside on a blanket. And yeah, it just looks like the vibe is really good. They keep saying I love you to each other. And it's just looking like, yet again, great relationship between the two of them. Great vibes, great energy between the two of them. And now I'm like wondering who between Lauren B and Becca, who got the race, you know? So definitely gonna be interesting to see how the rose ceremony goes. So it was a beautiful, quiet day. It was quiet on the set. 3 fantasy suite dates have all occurred. They all seem to go well. Arie has told 2 women he loves them. So the day is free today. Nothing should be going on. It should be a rest day. But then in the background, we hear a man saying, I want my girl. I'm here for my girl. No, I don't want to be on camera. I'm here to propose to my girl. Sir? Security? Who is this man? Oh, his name is Ross. Who is Ross here for? Ross is insisting that he doesn't want to talk to the camera. And he says, you know, as the camera follows him and asks for questions, he says, I'm here for my girl, Becca. I heard she was on the show through the grapevine, and I just couldn't let her go through with it. I'm here to give my girl a ring. I'm here for another chance. And I'm just like, oh God, this is even more messy than I like. There's so many thoughts. I don't even know how to properly cover this, because y'all, this man, my first impression was, this must be a fuckboy. That's my first impression, because this must be the boyfriend that she had for 7 years, that she's been talking about how they ended kind of poorly, how he wasn't who he said he was towards the end. And now this guy is here all the way in Peru. I'm just thinking so many things. I'm thinking this guy could actually be crazy. I'm thinking this guy could actually be hella romantic. I'm thinking this guy got a first class ticket from production to come start this mess. I'm thinking, Arie, what is this gonna look like when him and Arie come into contact? I'm just thinking so many things, y'all. I'm here like, wow. But at the core of it all, I'm thinking, this man kind of fine. This guy, Ross, is talking to production and he's saying, I'm going to get Becca back. I'm her ex. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for her. She cannot go through and marry this man. I need to talk to her. So the first person that he first needs to attempt to talk to is Arie. So this man walks to Arie's door, directed by production, of course, knocks on Arie's door, and Arie opens. Now, normally, if you see a stranger at your door, you're gonna look actually shocked or surprised, like looking around. No, Arie opened the door like as if he knew he was coming. So clue number one, I'm not stupid. They must have redid that scene so many times because Arie opened that door like, well, hello. Like, I knew you were coming. Like, I was just like, he says, hi, I'm Ross. I'm Becca's ex, and I'm here to get her. And I'm just like, this is such a mess. He invites him in, and he sits him down, and we hear Arie in his confessional say, I didn't know who this was. I opened the door, and I said to myself, why is hotel management knocking on my door? Arie, you're getting 20 points for just that one track. Arie, I'm so proud. The shadiest thing I've ever heard you say, and it landed. He was so slick with it too. I was like, he called the man hotel management. Folks, that's a drag. So then they actually sit down and he just basically tells Arie what's up. He says, to be honest with you, I heard that she was on the show and I had to come out here and get her. My intention is to propose to her. I feel like I cannot lose her. We have so much history. I can see how you fell in love with her within 2 months, and I know you're gonna pick her because I fell in love with her on our first date. And he's like, to be honest with you, this is the person I saw my life with, and I just can't let that go. I mean, I'm here to get my girl. And Arie's just like, is this about a competition to you? Like, basically saying now that you heard she's onto somebody else or onto a show, now you want to, be in a competition with me? And Ross was like, no, it's not about a competition. It's about the fact that this is my soulmate. This is someone I've been, thinking about for the past year since we've broken up. And this is someone that's gonna be my wife. Like, he just keeps telling Arie, like, basically, I'm here to collect my girl. He keeps saying words like grab, get. I'm just like, is she property, sir? Sir, I don't know. This approach was giving me like toxic control vibes. I wasn't feeling it. Beside his face, I was like, nah, I feel like you toxic, bruh. He traveled very far to get here. He was on the plane for a day, then he took the bus for 5 hours. Like, he's like, I am here to collect my girl. Like, I am dead serious about this. I'm just letting you know that, I'm here to steal your girl. And Arie's just looking at him like, you can try. Like, Arie was giving him hella looks. He was looking at him like, oh, sure. Sure, you're coming to get her. No, you're not, but I'll let you think that. Arie was definitely very upset in this moment. You could tell he's angry to see this guy. He didn't expect this. And I think a part of him is now even more in love with Becca just because another person is here, in pursuit of Becca. You know how guys can be. As soon as they see someone else is on you, it's like, oh, hot commodity, gotta get her more. I think this is just fueling Arie to want her more and like her more, love her more. Like, I think this is just gonna put a bigger fire under him. Like, yeah, this ex might be crazy and I think he's gonna need to get over that. But just the fact that someone was willing to do all of this for Becca, like, I think that's gonna be some points for her in the end, to be honest. Then Ross leaves him, basically telling him, good luck to you with finding love. Like, this guy really believes that he's collecting Becca today. Finds his way to Becca's door, knocks on it, and she opens just like Arie did, like, And then she has like a secondary reaction. I'm like, y'all are terrible actors. Like, oh, what are you doing here? I'll tell you, should have just closed the door and said, not today, Satan. So she's just looking at him like, what? She literally says, Ross, what are you doing here? And he was just like, I'm here because I can't live without you. I've been thinking about us for the past year, just saying all the things he's been saying. And she's just like, he's like, can we talk? And he has this like bouquet of flowers in his hand. And she was just like, no, you can't come inside, but we can talk outside. And then she says, let's go talk on the stairs. And this is like the most narrow little like balcony area. And I know production was mad. Like, we could have got a nice little sit down shot and this girl wants to talk on the stairs. Damn it. So she like walks to this narrow ass stair area and she sits down and he's standing above her. And she's just like, I knew you would do this. Like, I knew you would do something like this. I'm like, damn, what kind of crazy are you fucking with, girl? He gives me like covert, like crazy. Like, it comes off like romantic, but beneath it, I'm like, I don't know, maybe you need to stay 10 feet away, sir. He just tells her, you know, I have not been able to stop thinking about you. I'm in love with you. I'm here for you. I traveled all this way for you. And she basically just says, how can you say that? Like, we ended. It was over for a reason. You know, I wish you the best of luck. I wish nothing but good things for you, but we are not going to work out. Like, we are not together for a reason. It's not healthy for both of us. It's just not what I want anymore. This is not what I want. And he is just looking at her like, what? What do you mean? Like, I came out here, I brought the flowers, I professed my love. He's like, I basically said, I thought, you know, you would want a grand gesture and I wanted to propose to you. And Becca's just looking like so like overwhelmed. Like, I can only imagine like how embarrassed she must feel, or maybe slightly like flattered. I don't know the dynamic of their relationship, but she looks like she's really annoyed and embarrassed. And I'm just like, this is just weird all around. Weird, weird, weird. The guy is handsome, but I don't know. The backstory seems a little concerning. And I kind of don't want this for her, like, at all. And it's looking like she doesn't want it for herself, because she turns him down and says, it's not gonna happen. And he just walks away and was like, oh, she doesn't want me anymore, and walks away from the scene. I'm just like, this is so freaking awkward, man. So awkward. He walks away, keeps saying she doesn't want me. I gotta get out of here, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, good luck on that long ass 5-hour bus ride and that long ass flight you came all the way out here just to say that. Like, sir, we leave and fuck boys in 2017. Be gone. If you liked it, you should have put a ring on it when you had it. For all intents and purposes, I don't know the purpose of this guy. I don't know the backstory of their relationship. All I do know is he came off very intense and controlling, but aesthetically pleasing. And that leaves me in quite a turmoil, but I'm just glad that she kind of told him off, told him that I've left you in the past. And she made the decision that she felt was best for her life. And I'm proud of Becca for that. She handled it very well. She handled it very respectfully to Arie and to herself. And yeah, he leaves and that's the end of that. Good night and goodbye, sir. Becca feels like she needs to talk to Arie. So she goes, she talks to Arie in his room, and you can tell Arie is so pissed. But instead of unleashing on her, he just kind of lets her talk. And she says, honestly, I'm disgusted. I'm annoyed. I didn't expect that to happen. And I'm like, Becca, but didn't you just tell him that you knew he would do something like this? Okay, I'll let it slide, sis. Arie's just like, I mean, he could be a roadblock. Like, this is someone that you talked about in the beginning of our relationship. You were very hurt over it, and I just don't know. I think Arie is now starting to say, I don't know if it's going to influence our relationship moving forward. I don't think so, but Arie's really upset about it. You can tell he's really upset about it, and they just try to talk through what they can in that moment, but ultimately Arie decides that he just needs some time and that the conversation is not going to really help him get over it just yet. So that conversation ends. It's looking like we got a little bit of competition in Becca and Arie's relationship. And if I know anything about relationships in that way, it's not going to be a problem. If anything, it might even incite Arie to like Becca more. So now we are at the rose ceremony. They're actually doing it outdoors. I'm trying to remember. I don't think we've had any cool outdoor rose ceremonies this season just yet. So it's really cool to have it during the daytime and outdoors. It's really pretty. It's a really pretty scene. All of the girls are looking really beautiful and for the most part, confident. Arie comes out and he tells them that this is the most confident he's ever felt, and he really feels like he's gonna get engaged at the end of this. So he's really confident in the decision he's going to have to make tonight. So he actually calls Kendall aside, and I'm just like, deja vu. And Lauren B and Becca K are thinking the same thing. They're like, this has happened before. Like, they looking a little bit panicked. Like, is he about to ask her, like, is she ready again and give her a spot over one of us? They ain't so secure this time. And so he pulls her aside and he was just like, we had a very awesome fantasy suite date. I so enjoyed it. I really enjoyed getting to know you. But, and he kind of does this like, but yeah, like, I just don't know if I see it. I'm just like, Arie. Didn't you just reassure her and tell her, oh, I see it with you. I see a future with you. Oh, you're so great, blah, blah, blah. And now you're saying you don't know if you see it? I wish he would have gave her a better, maybe just say, I see it with the other women a little bit more, and it doesn't take away from our relationship. I think it's just, I'm so glad we got to know each other. But, you know, he takes the cop-out road and sure, whatever. She seems to accept it and she says, okay, I really enjoyed getting to know you. It's gonna be hard not, you know, seeing you every day and not hanging out and not building our relationship. I'm really gonna miss you. He says he'll miss her too, and they hug and just have a nice little ending moment. And he walks her to the limo, and she's in the limo and she says, you know, she's really upset that she really couldn't get there. She wishes that their relationship would have started earlier so that she would have gotten to the place of being in love with him at this point. And I guess she's thinking that's what really held her back in their relationship. Honestly, I don't think it was that. I think ultimately they're just not the right fit. Ultimately, Arie is not looking for someone like her, and that's nothing against her because I've grown to really like this girl, to be honest. I just think Arie doesn't know what he wants. He, you know, says he wants this strong, independent woman, and then he goes after literally everything outside of that. So it's not shocking to me that he's sending home someone who is a lot different from what he pictures in his mind. I think that's just ultimately what it came down to, and the fact that she wasn't reassuring him and saying she was gonna marry him and like get engaged to him at the end. I think that just didn't work out for her favor. So I think that was what caused Kendall to go home, and she went out like a G. She didn't cry much. She really just was looking like really put together, and I was very proud of her, and I'm really excited to see her in the future. I've grown to really like her as a person, and wow, like she made me eat my words in a sense. So Kendall, looking forward to seeing you in the future, and of course you're so much better off without this man. Like, you have nothing to worry about, just peace and blessings. So of course Arie hands out the 2 roses to Becca and Lauren, and that's pretty much the end of the episode. We see in the teaser that they tell us it's going to be a 3-hour finale. We see him actually, you know, at the final rose ceremony, you know, looking like he's gonna hand out a rose, looking like he's making a decision. And then we also see him in a hotel room with the girl crying in the bathroom. It seems like a hodgepodge of footage. I don't know, y'all. It's gonna be exhausting. I feel like with all of the clues they've given us, he has done some dumb shit. And 3 hours, y'all, that's gonna be one to get through, but I hope it keeps me entertained. I'm thinking of doing some sort of live live viewing at some point. Maybe do a live viewing of the last hour. Let me know in the comments if you would be into seeing me watch it live on YouTube. Definitely stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching this. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn those notifications on and share the love with your friends. Share this video if you enjoy it. Tell the world. I so appreciate you for doing so. And you know, have a great week. Have a great day. Y'all be good. And I will see you in my next couple of weeks.